Hey there, and welcome to Temporary Locals.
I'm Jared.
And I'm Megan. This week, we're taking you to the USS Yorktown in Charleston, South Carolina.
That's right. We're doing a whole month of October Halloween themed episodes. So if you like scary and haunted places, then you're going to enjoy this month.
Yeah, absolutely. And for those of us who aren't familiar with us, welcome in. We are a travel loving couple who somehow always end up feeling like locals wherever we go. From small towns to some of the world's most iconic wonders, we share our stories, hidden gems, and occasional history or true crime that has shaped the places that we've actually been. So, if you're into travel, storytelling, and a little bit of mystery, then you are in the right place, and we would love it if you would subscribe and join us for the ride. We would also encourage you guys to share the episode, engage, like, comment, leave us a review. It all helps the algorithm, helps us go far. All right. And so, getting into the episode here, our sources are patriotspoint.org, wikipedia.org, counton2.com, bulldogtours.com.
That's right. And Bulldog Tours is actually who we've used for this specific ghost tour that we're going to talk about today. We're going to go into some of the history of the Yorktown. For those that may not know, the USS Yorktown is a World War II ship that is now docked at Patriots Point in Charleston, and it is extremely haunted. One of the most haunted, probably places you could visit down here. And I've been fortunate enough to be on the Yorktown about 3 times. I've visited and done this same tour 3 times. But what I've noticed is that all 3 times they've shown me something different than the previous tour that I had been on. And so there's always more to learn. Every time I've done the tour, I've had a different tour guide who would tell us different things, different stories. Sometimes the same stories. There's some really famous stories and ghosts that are aboard the ship, but there's tons that you can read about the Yorktown online and all kinds of history behind it. So
Yeah, and I've been a few times. So once on like an 8th grade field trip, we went to Charleston. We did a bunch of stuff over the weekend, but one of the things that we did that I remember was go to the Yorktown and tour it during the day. The second time that I've gone is when I went with you and we did a ghost tour of the ship. So have seen it in the day and at night.
yeah, night's definitely a whole different vibe
Absolutely.
because it's very dark on the ship. I
Yeah.
mean, they have some lighting and stuff so that you can safely walk through the ship, but it's definitely a lot creepier at night. I actually went on a tour of the Yorktown on Halloween night a number of years ago. And the funny story about that is that the people I was with, we actually showed up in costume. We like dressed up for the occasion because it was Halloween night, you know?
Yeah.
And we get there and there was a pretty large tour group that we were a part of, and we were the only ones in costume. And people looked at us like we were crazy.
Yeah.
And we're like, it's Halloween, like, you know what I mean? And so we were like kind of embarrassed. We were just like, oh yeah, we just came from a Halloween party. That's why we're dressed up.
Yeah. Well, that's what happened to you and I when we did a ghost tour in Charlotte, North Carolina was that one on Halloween? I think, yeah, it was. It
Yeah.
was.
Yeah.
And we were the only people on our tour dressed up.
Yep. Yeah. And people look at you like you're weird. It's like, it's Halloween.
Yeah.
But
Leave a
yeah.
comment if you want to guess what our costumes were.
Well, anybody that follows us probably knew, you could find out pretty quick.
Yeah.
But yeah.
All right. Yeah, so jumping into the episode, again, the USS Yorktown is a massive retired United States naval ship. Measures at about 890 feet long and just has a long, long history. We pulled some stuff out to kind of highlight, but definitely we could do an entire episode just on like the service history of this ship. It was involved in a lot.
Yeah, it was.
But so we'll start off with kind of when it was constructed and the commission of it. So it began construction in December of 1941 as her keel was laid down in Newport News, Virginia. And it was built in 16 and a half months, which I guess is like record time.
For the time, probably. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know how quickly, I didn't look up to compare how quickly ships can be built, in this day and age in 2025. But
Mm-hmm.
the ship was originally named the Bonhomme Richard. And so it goes in 1941 and or starts being constructed in 1941, has the name of the Bonhomme Richard. And then the there's another USS Yorktown ship that is sunk in the Battle of Midway in June of 1942. So
Mm-hmm.
they renamed this ship the USS Yorktown after that sunken ship in the Battle of Midway. So
Yep. And
unique history there that it started off originally named something else and then it changed its name to honor that ship, which there was 4 other ships including this one that had been named the USS Yorktown. All the other ones were like named after the Battle of Yorktown. This is the only ship named the USS Yorktown that's like named after a fallen ship.
mm-hmm. Yeah, and then it was launched in January of 1943, and it was commissioned on April 15th of 1943. And if anybody's wondering, the commissioning of a ship consists of a ceremony that takes place when the ship is in active service. So it's a tradition that dates back to 1775. And a lot of times it involves speeches, the raising of the commissioning pennant, and the ensign flag. Did I say that right? Ensign?
I think it's ensign.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean,
Which is the flag.
yeah.
Yeah. This is all stuff that you learn on the tour, aside
Yeah.
from just the spooky, creepy things.
Yeah, I did have to do some research to just make sure that we got it right because I could not. We're on like this ghost tour, so I'm not taking notes or anything, right? So, but I do remember learning about this. And so, yeah, interesting just to kind of understand, how ships go from construction to like being active, like a military ship. So
Mm-hmm.
it starts in 1941 and then gets put into the water in 1943, and then it's actually like ceremoniously put into active military service in 1943.
Mm-hmm.
And then the end part of the like commissioning ceremony is the ship's sponsor orders the crew to quote man our ship and bring her to life, and then all the systems on the vessel are activated.
Mm-hmm.
And the sponsor for the USS Yorktown that we're talking about today was actually Eleanor Roosevelt.
Yep.
And I remembered a story from our ghost tour. I couldn't find anything on when I was like searching other than like she was the sponsor.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess part of that ceremony is the sponsor will.
Break a champagne bottle on the bow, which we've
Yeah.
all seen that in movies and things, or maybe even in real life. But yeah, the ship was kind of, in a joking way, was kind of said to be doomed from the beginning and kind of have a bad aura because when Eleanor Roosevelt went to break the champagne bottle on the bow of the boat, it actually bounced off and didn't break.
Yeah. So as it's like, it's kind of like, it's not sitting at the dock. It's like getting ready to go.
Mm-hmm.
And she's on the dock. The ship is getting ready to go. And like the champagne bottle's kind of like tied to like a rope.
Mm-hmm.
And she throws it. It kind of bounces off. So she's like running and trying to grab this champagne bottle and to grab it again and like smash it on the bow again.
Yeah.
And I think it did break that time. But yeah, it was like close call.
Yeah. So either the ship was kind of like doomed from the beginning, or Eleanor Roosevelt just had a bitch ass throw. She had a weak arm,
Yeah.
you know?
I wonder. It'd be interesting if we could find like a newspaper article or something about that.
Yeah.
Because, there had to be witnesses and people like, dang.
Yeah. I'm sure people in the crowd were probably like, she sucks at throwing.
Oh, stop. Wasn't she beloved?
Huh?
People loved her, right?
Yeah, well, she wasn't good at throwing bottles at ships. It's a very, very specific skill.
Yeah. Alrighty. Well, then we go into like the service history of the USS Yorktown. And again, you could go forever. I mean, the Wikipedia page alone
Mm-hmm.
on all the battles and stuff that the ship was involved in, I was like, my goodness.
Yeah, I
We
went through
just kind
some
of have,
stuff. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, had a lot of, again, a lot of history, a lot of people on this ship.
Hmm.
Um, it was once manned by over 3,000 people. And if you've ever seen the ship, there's, especially at night, there's the number 10 up kind of on the, I don't know what part of the ship is, but it's like, the thing that like sticks out at the top. There's the number 10 on it and it's all lit up now. I don't know if it's always been like that or that's just kind of something that they did afterwards, but yeah, it's the number 10. And you just kind of think, yeah, okay, whatever. But there's a significance of that. It's the 10th naval ship in the United States Navy.
Hmm.
And that's something that we learn on that ghost tour as well. Because touring it during the day, you wouldn't notice that it's lit up,
Yeah.
the number 10.
And that's another thing that I think I had only learned on this last tour that we had gone on, because I guess if you're somebody that knows anything about military ships, you would have already known that, but I didn't know what that 10 necessarily meant, because, it's always up there, but um, I don't believe I had ever been told that before.
Yeah, there was other guesses, like, because the tour guide asked us, like, what do you guys think this means? And so there's like people shouting stuff out, like, I don't know, 10 years of service or,
Hmm.
other guesses, but
Yeah, the ship itself was nicknamed, like a lot of ships have nicknames, a lot of boats have nicknames. And the Yorktown was nicknamed the Fighting Lady. And it earned 11 battle stars for service in World War II for participation in the Pacific Offensive between 1943 and 1945. In the 1950s, the Yorktown was modernized to operate jet aircraft as an attack carrier. And you see that when you go up to the deck. They do take you up on the deck of the ship.
yeah.
And there's all kinds of cool fighter planes up there and old World War II aircraft up on the deck still. And so it's also, I think, important to note that, like, people go to the Yorktown not just for ghost tours, but people actually go for regular, like, historical tours. People have weddings on it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I've been to the Yorktown before, where they were like, people were coming off the ship with like white. Everybody had white on, like white gowns and stuff, and
Oh,
they had a wedding on it. The Boy Scouts of America will have camping trips on the Yorktown, and so even on our tour, we saw, as we were going through with the tour guide, and he was telling stories every once in a while, like a couple of kids would walk by.
yeah, and he would talk to him. He'd be like, "Hey, you guys need to like go back with your group or whatever." But they were doing like a scavenger hunt or something.
Yeah.
That would be a cool thing to do
Mm-hmm.
as a kid,
Yeah.
roaming by yourself, because it was like a group of 3 of them by themselves just roaming this ship doing their like scavenger hunt.
Right.
That
Yeah, and they
seems
actually will
pretty
send
cool.
tents, like set up camp up on top of the deck
Yeah, and
where
camp
the
on the
aircraft
ship.
carriers, yeah, where the aircraft are, and they'll have tents up there, and they'll spend the night outside on the deck of the ship, which is really interesting. Um, yeah.
Yeah, and so the ship, it recovered the Apollo 8 astronauts and the capsule in December of 1968, and they actually have like part of that in the on the ship. I don't know if it's the actual capsule, but there's
Hmm.
you can there's either the capsule or in
Replica.
replica,
Hmm.
yeah, that you can kind of get in
Yep.
that's on the ship. I remember that from when I was in 8th grade touring it.
Yeah.
Um yeah, and then seeing it again when we went back. But in 1957, the ship was redesignated as an anti-submarine aircraft carrier, and then it would later earn 5 battle stars for service off of Vietnam between 65, so 1965 and 68.
Yeah. So it
So
was in
3
World War
years.
II and Vietnam,
Yeah.
and I believe it had casualties in both. Um,
Yeah.
it
I
was.
remember on our ghost tour, there were stories about like, the ship taking hits.
In the Pacific, I know.
Yeah.
Yeah. And people died, and that's where some of the ghost stories come from. Is it did have mass casualties. A lot of people died aboard this ship, not just from attacks, during wartime, but like yellow fever, which we'll
Yeah.
get into that later. Um, but yeah, the Yorktown was finally decommissioned in 1970 and placed in reserve. And in 1975, it was towed from New Jersey to Charleston, and it became the centerpiece of Patriots Point, and it became a maritime museum. And now it's located at 40 Patriots Point Road in Mount Pleasant, South Carolina. And just to kind of set the scene for you, if anybody's ever interested in going and actually touring the Yorktown, you drive up, you park in this large parking area, and then you go through like a ticket booth.
Yeah.
And
Well,
once you go through the fence and stuff, you get out, and there's a long bridge that goes across to the ship. And Patriots Point itself is a really cool place. It looks out over Charleston, and you have the Ravenel Bridge right there, which is a super iconic bridge. And
mhm.
especially at night, I don't know if you remember, but when we were there, before we even got on the ship, because we kind of got there early, we were just taking pictures of like the bridge, because at night they light up the bridge
Mhm.
going from Charleston to Mount Pleasant. And it's just a really cool scene. And I've been there at night when it's like a full moon with the ship in the foreground. And it's just like a really, it's cool, but it's a very creepy scene, you know? Because you know
Yeah.
you're about to get on something that's truly historic. And if anything is haunted, whether you believe in like paranormal or ghosts, if anything is going to be haunted, it would have to be a military warship that saw battle, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I
It's
think
an
we talked last episode about places that are haunted and how even if you don't believe in ghosts or believe in necessarily like the paranormal or things being haunted, you can feel a heaviness to a place. You can feel that like it's seen tragedy.
yeah.
And I talked about, you know, Gettysburg and some other places, but the Yorktown is one of those places where even if you don't necessarily believe in ghosts or that there's ghosts on the ship, you can tell there's like an atmosphere. There's like, you can feel it in the air that there's been death here, you know?
Yeah, and that's something that the tour guide mentioned too about like the smell of the ship. He's like, the ship has not been in commission, but it still smells like grease and fuel and
Mm-hmm.
sweat and cigarettes. Like it's still, you step on the ship and it's like you're kind of in a different world.
Stepping back in time. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yep.
Yeah, stepping back in time. That is a good way to put it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so we got to our ghost tour early, like you said. We had time to kind of hang out before we had to meet up with our group, and took pictures of the bridge. It's the Arthanol Ravenel Junior Bridge, also known as the Ravenel Bridge or the Cooper River Bridge. And like you said, it's an iconic bridge in Charleston. It's a cable stayed bridge, so it's got like the white cables, and from afar it kind of looks like a sail.
Mm-hmm.
It's a really pretty bridge, but it connects Charleston to Mount Pleasant over the Cooper River, and they actually do like, what is it? The Cooper River Bridge Run. Is it a
Mm-hmm. Yep.
10K? Not a 10K. It's a marathon, right? Or half marathon.
Sure.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
my dad's run it before.
Yeah. I've been across that bridge so many times. Um, it's like, at least if you're coming from Mount Pleasant, it's like, that's when you know like you're coming into Charleston, you know,
Yeah.
and it's just it's such an iconic bridge, and it's also like a cool feeling, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. I like driving over it. Just speaking of like ships, I remember when I lived in Minnesota, there's a ship there, and I think it's just docked there year round, but it's the William, I think it's William H. Irving, something Irving. And they do the same thing. Like they have Halloween tours. I kind of just vaguely remember it from, it's probably like second or third grade going
Mm-hmm.
on this ship. But yeah, it's on Lake Superior. What a what a fun concept that if you're not around an area, I just don't think that it's a common thing. Touring a haunted ship.
Yeah. It's definitely one of the coolest things I've done as far as like Halloween themed adventures. Being able to say that you got to tour a haunted ghost ship, a legitimate haunted ghost ship,
Yeah.
On Halloween night or during the Halloween time is it's cool, man. You know.
Yeah. And the ghost tour, I mean, I think solely it's Bulldog tours, but
Mm-hmm.
it's an hour and a half. It's a walking tour, so definitely want comfy shoes, but
Not just comfy shoes, but also, do you remember how? And anybody that's ever been on like a military ship, down in the ship itself knows like it's very narrow. The hallways are very narrow. You have to step over doorways.
yeah.
Um, you have to go up and down stairs. So it's not for people that, there's no handicap accessibility on the ship. I mean,
Yeah.
it is what it is. And so it's, you're going to be walking, you're going to be climbing stairs. Some of the staircases are very narrow too and very steep.
Very steep.
And
Yeah.
so you have to, and also remember there was a guy on our tour that was like, he had to be like 6, 7 or something.
He had to duck in some
He
of
had
the
to-
areas we were just standing in.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, these ships were not made to be roomy,
Right.
and they packed people. And when you're on there, you really get a sense of like what it must have been like to live on this ship for months at a time with thousands of other people, because even just our tour group being on there, it felt crowded.
Yeah. Claustrophobic. Yeah.
Yeah. It's not for people that are claustrophobic.
Yeah.
And you could see why disease spread so rapidly on ships like this during that time.
Yeah.
Which is something I mentioned earlier. But yeah, we actually got the tour. They took us to the area that was the sleeping quarters, and they had a bunch of cots and like bunks and stuff in this giant room where people would sleep. And I guess during a yellow fever outbreak, they ended up turning this into the infirmary, and this is where they just had people that were dying at the time. And so, aside from the battles itself and the casualties that they had from actual wartime, there was just a lot of death on this ship. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember feeling that in I guess it was the sleeping quarters. That room where they had it looks like cots and they're just kind of folded up like to save space. But I guess, when you're ready to sleep, you kind of fold them down and there's like 3 deep, 3, one on the top, one middle, and one on the bottom. I remember that room feeling like ominous,
Yeah.
just heavy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, not necessarily like bad,
Right.
but just like,
Heavy.
yeah. And, it doesn't help when you're literally hearing stories of soldiers that have died there. So it's like,
Yeah.
standing in this area. But the ship itself, I mean, there's so much in there too. Like there's placards everywhere that you can read more in addition to like the tour that you're on. And they have like mannequins set up to kind of like emulate some of the scenes of like the cafeteria.
Yeah. The cafeteria is creepy because as you walk by the cafeteria, and they have lights on, but it's still kind of dark in there. But they actually have mannequins like behind the glass where they would have been making food, like the cooks. And yeah, if you didn't know that and you're just walking around the ship, you'd see these like mannequins in the dark, and it's kind of creepy. They do it for like historical purposes to kind of show what it would have been like on the ship, but it's creepy at night. There's just mannequins everywhere.
Yeah.
You turn the corner and there's like a guy standing there. It's yeah.
Yeah, some of the mannequins were creepy.
Yeah.
And I was like kind of looking at them like, did I just see that move?
Yeah. Mannequins are creepy.
Yeah.
Except for the thick ones in Target.
Oh my gosh.
I like them.
Oh, yeah, you do.
I'm like, oh, that mannequin's got some hips.
Oh, good Lord. Yeah, the ones on the Yorktown are mostly men.
Yeah.
And that's actually like, so our tour guide, his name is Tad, and I've actually seen him a lot on, like when researching, there's like a news article that they kind of interviewed him. And, so I think he really enjoys what he does. He was a great tour guide. I remember leaving like a really good review because it was like, that was awesome. He was so good. But He shared stories of like, or maybe not a story, but just kind of warned all the women in the group, like, hey, this is a haunted Navy ship with a lot of men on it. So typically the ones that are going to experience something paranormal are going to be the women. And I was like, oh, great.
Yeah, ghosts are just groping women on the ship. Lady turns around and looks at me. I'm like, it wasn't me, I swear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember experiencing anything.
How does that make you feel?
Oh, yeah.
You're not hot enough for the ghosts.
That's fine with me. That is fine with me. But some people say like you'll feel like a scratch or like a hand on your shoulder.
Yeah.
Maybe they're just trying to like move past you. So they like put their hand on your shoulder, like move over so I can get where I need to go.
Get out of my way. Yeah.
I'm trying to get it to the cafeteria.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm trying to eat my haunted pizza.
Haunted pizza. Yeah. And so there's like people that are, staff of the ship that are like certified tour guides and, just, other people at Patriots Point and just visitors have reported, strange sounds or like seeing figures that shouldn't be there. Or Tad even says that he's heard footsteps behind him and then turn around and there was nobody there, nothing there. So like,
yeah,
just creepy reportings like that actually attracted the attention of the Ghost Hunters team, which is an A&E show?
I think so. Yeah,
Most
Ghost
people
Hunters
would be familiar with Ghost Hunters.
Yeah.
So in 2012, they did an episode called Haunted by Heroes, and they were trying to discover like past American heroes that were on the ship.
Mm-hmm.
I actually haven't seen the episode. Have you seen it?
I haven't, but I believe, if I'm remembering this correctly, they actually have a theater on the ship, right? And I think they used to show that episode.
Yeah, I vaguely remember going into a room
that had like a screen, right?
And
they showed it. Yeah, I think because Ghost Hunters is Zach Baggins, or is he? There's like two shows that are kind of similar. But yeah, they did an episode on the ship, and that's something that they told us. That's something they told me my first time ever on the ship. It was kind of known for it. So yeah, I mean, the ship is famous for being haunted. So it's, it's not just like a local thing. It's been on TV, and there's books about it. So
yeah, there's books about just like the hauntings too.
Mm-hmm.
Like the paranormal activity on the ship.
And I remember specifically, I don't know if you remember this, but there was one hallway we went kind of into, but it was all dark. And I remember the tour guide was like,
mm-hmm.
I'm not going to the back of the hallway. You guys can if you want, but I'm not going back there. He's like, that's where like a lot of people experience things.
Yep.
Is in this specific hallway.
It's called the dark room.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he has the whole tour group go in there.
And I cram in there, yeah.
Was it an infirmary? I can't remember what the room actually was. It is very cramped. It feels like if you've ever gone into a cave and they do like the total darkness. That's what it felt like to me. I was like, so you go in there and the lights are on, but he's like, all right. And he kind of closes this curtain, but then turns the lights off. So it is completely dark in there.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, you probably spend 15 seconds in the dark. It's not long, but it feels like an eternity.
Yeah.
And you can't see anything. Your eyes are wide open and you're like trying to adjust. You can't see anything.
Mm-hmm.
The only way like where you are is, by touching the person in front of you or like touching the wall.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I remember that being really creepy. And then afterwards he showed us a video, and I can't remember if it was from Ghost Hunters or if it was a previous visitor, but do you remember him showing us a video of like a figure? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's another thing they'll do on the tour is show you pictures from past tours that people have caught apparitions and ghosts. And one of the most famous ones is there's a helicopter up on the deck, and at certain times people have gone up and you can kind of shove your phone or camera up and take a picture in the cockpit, and people have gotten like a photo of a service member sitting in the cockpit in uniform, like a fighter pilot ghost.
What?
And yeah, you can go find
There's
it.
no mannequin?
No, it's you can tell it's a ghost.
Oh,
Yeah,
creepy.
yeah.
Didn't you get a picture?
I did, yeah, and I got the same thing. I tried to find it. I couldn't
Oh.
find it. I have all kinds of pictures from the Yorktown.
Yeah.
Um,
But that was the picture of the
yeah.
helicopter pilot?
Mhm.
Whoa.
Yeah. And he was telling that story on this past tour that we were on. And I remember trying to like kind of speak up and be like, well, first of all, I've been here before, but also like I got that picture before, you know.
Yeah.
But it's really common. I mean, a lot of people get it. And
Yeah.
I mean, you can see that picture online. Like people, he actually has people go up and like take turns trying to take pictures and see if they can get, you know, the apparition in their photo.
Yeah.
So it's like sometimes the pilot's in there like on duty, and sometimes he's like, you know, in the kitchen eating haunted pizza. I don't know.
Or or touching women's shoulders.
Yeah, or harassing women.
Yeah. What an interesting, area, piece of history.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder what moved it to Charleston. Like, what was the reason for that? Maybe there's just, rich history in Charleston, because it was kind of ported in New Jersey.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't see anything about that when looking at the history of it. It didn't specifically say why they moved it, but I think Charleston's the perfect place for it because Charleston itself is such a haunted city in the South. The South has a lot of haunted stuff down here.
Yeah.
Between Savannah, Charleston. There's also the jail tour in Charleston. I've done that before too. Charleston jail is very haunted. There was a lot of horrible things that happened there also. So, yeah, I think it's fitting that it's in Charleston, and it's nice for us because it's not far, you know?
Yeah.
You can go to the beach and then go check out a haunted ghost ship.
Yeah.
But
yeah. I was just reading about, it's like military service, and it spent a lot of time in Pearl Harbor, like training. Not the ship training, but they were doing like military
training and
exercises.
Yeah. Well, that's where it saw most of its action was in the Pacific Theater. And so I don't know if it crossed like the Panama Canal to get from the Atlantic. It did. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, I mean, it's just got so much history to it. Yeah. And another interesting thing is when they take you through the big open area of the ship where they also have some like fighter planes and stuff. And where you said where they had the Apollo capsule.
Yep.
They also have all kinds of stuff in there. It's like a museum. And I guess it is a museum.
Yeah, it is.
A haunted museum at that. But they have a list of everybody that served aboard the ship. And they have the people that died and everything. But what was interesting is I just happened to be like looking at the placards and things and going down the names. And I found somebody that actually had the last name Stover. Mm. And so I was like, wow, I wonder if I'm related to this person. Like, how interesting is that? I don't have a super common last name, especially down here.
Yeah.
And so I was thinking like, wow, that's wild that like somebody with my last name happened to serve aboard the ship that I'm on right now. Yeah. You know, doing a ghost tour. And so I looked into it, and it was a gentleman by the name of, and I don't know how to pronounce his first name. It's Elisha. Alicia. Okay. Not Alicia. I don't know. It's a weird name for a guy. Alicia Smokey Stover was his name.
Smokey?
His nickname was Smokey.
Oh.
And it says Smokey Stover was a naval aviator who was stationed aboard the USS Yorktown, and he was reported missing in action after a strike on Truk in February 1944. Truk is Truk Lagoon, which is an island in Micronesia, and it's famous for being a World War II ship graveyard. And a lot of people dive there now to go look at the...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's probably really cool diving. Wait, would it not be a gravesite?
Sure.
Maybe. I don't know. Okay.
Stover was reported missing. So they don't actually know. I guess they never recovered a body, so they don't actually know what happened to him. But they assume he died during this. Yeah, so a lot of history. Like, I saw that name and I was kind of like, wow, this just happened to be like a random person on this ship that has my last name, but he's actually pretty famous. There's a lot of information about him. And I guess I'm assuming his nickname Smokey Stover was after the comic. There's a comic strip from back in the day called Smokey Stover.
Oh.
So I don't know. I guess that's why he was nicknamed that.
Yeah. I wonder if you're related.
I don't know. I'd have to.
Wow.
Well, all my grandparents are dead, so. But yeah, I'd have to look into it. But yeah, he was kind of a big deal on the ship. He was one of the fighter pilots, and they only had so many,
Right.
So he was kind of a badass, which makes sense. I mean,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So.
Well, I guess if you ever visit the Yorktown, go check out the list of, serving members and see if maybe you can find somebody in your family.
Yeah, maybe there was a rip key on board.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't
Probably not.
No, because you're a Yooper.
Oh, my Yupa from Michigan.
So, well, I mean, I'm from the north too, and so he might be related to me, but
Yeah.
But originally the ship was, like you said, docked up in New Jersey, so who knows?
A little further north.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and I mean Navy members would be from all over, right?
Right.
Or
Yeah. Could be. Yeah.
Could be. Yeah.
That's true. Yeah. I don't. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah. So the Yorktown is a really cool place. It's very haunted, and if you're somebody that likes creepy and scary things during the holiday of Halloween, it's a cool place to go. I think they do ghost tours year round, though, right?
Yeah, probably.
I think they do, but obviously the best time to go is in October. That's when we like to do a lot of our scary stuff and ghost tours. Because otherwise, if you're in Charleston in the summer or something, then go to the beach.
Yeah.
But Charleston is a very historic place. There's a lot of haunted stuff there to go check out, and yeah, the Yorktown's definitely one of them.
Yeah, I would highly recommend it. If you're in Charleston, even if you're, not there during spooky season, going to tour the Yorktown doesn't even have to be a ghost tour.
Right. If you're somebody, yeah.
Just go check it out. I mean, it's so cool. Mm-hmm. And there's so many levels, so much to learn. I think they might do like self-guided walking tours.
Mm-hmm.
And they obviously have separate parts of the ship that they don't let you go on. But yeah, I remember enjoying it during the day, and it's also really cool at night too. So
yeah, it's if you're somebody that's into history, it's really cool to do, and if you're somebody that again is into spooky haunted things, it's definitely cool to do, and you kind of get both of those things together, which I think is always great. That's a big reason why I like ghost tours so much. Is on one hand I like them because of the haunted aspect, and I like doing the scary spooky stuff, but the history you learn on the ghost tours is also really interesting.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because otherwise you're just driving through Charleston, you just see a big ship docked out in the harbor, and you probably wouldn't think twice about it. But once you get on board and you learn about the history of it, and you hear about all the ghost stories that it,
yeah,
it's
or even all the battles that it was, involved in.
Yeah,
it's just a extraordinarily long list. So, we went over a brief, podcast episode of this ship, but if you just go to the Wikipedia page and you scroll, the section on like the military service is like 90% of the Wikipedia page.
Yeah. And it's been all over the world, so just like you and I.
Yeah.
Temporary locals.
Yeah, go be a temporary local on the USS Yorktown.
That's right.
Alrighty, everybody. Well, that's it for this week. Another reminder that we have spooky episodes planned throughout the end of October. So this is number 2. If you liked this one or you liked our previous one on Hell's Church, let us know. Let us know what you think. You can do that in the form of leaving a comment.
Yeah.
We have social media, so you can find us on Instagram, Temporary Locals Podcast. We're also on YouTube. We're not doing video form podcast, but we do upload a video version that is has some pictures and stuff, but mostly just our audio to kind of put it in another platform, and then obviously on Spotify. You can find Jared on Instagram at Rover_Stover and on YouTube at Rover Stover. Post some kind of vlog style videos there. And then you can find me at mego.goes.global on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and Facebook. Pretty much any social media, I'm there. And with that, again, give us a share, like, comment. It really helps us out. We really appreciate you guys tagging along and listening to us. If you're, enjoying the content, please let us know.
That's right.
And with that,
I'm Jared.
And I'm Megan. Thanks for exploring with us.
And remember, be a local anywhere you go.
Bye.
Bye.